Hi there. Good morning or afternoon, or whichever it is for you. We are back. I was messing around on Twitch a little bit for a few days. That was fun. I think there's a way for me to actually download those videos and post them up. I got raided at one point, which was neat and something I didn't expect out of it. But anyhow, we're moving on to some Sisters of Battle. And you can see here that I have this Rhino transport. Really awesome model. Lots of stuff on it. Lots of bling. These ladies definitely adorn their Rhino. It's a little bit extra. So what I'm going to do today is basically just hit a bunch of this bling that's on here, because there's tons of it. There's all this like filigree stuff. It's the Inquisition, Sororitas stuff. There's a rocket launcher. There's a lady whose face is all messed up because I don't know how to paint faces, but I'm still learning. So that's what we're going to hop to. See how that goes. I'm running out of space on this wet palette. Oh, my camera's jacked up. My camera's unhappy. Does the camera look as bad as I think it does? Is it frozen? I've got so much stuff going on. Let's try this again. Oh man, well hopefully the audio's coming through. That would be terrible. Well, I presume it's just my camera that's all jacked up. The one with my dumb face on it. I may kick this and refire it. See what happens. Warp tainted, yeah. Right. I'm gonna try this again. Hold on one second. Do some technical difficulty mumbo jambo. Yeah. Be right back. Better. So many things. So many things plugged into this poor machine, bringing it to its knees. Anywho, I've got a lot of metallics to do. For those catching up, I went with a sort of deserty brown theme instead of the red stuff because there's so much red stuff going on. I should probably tackle some of these faces today too. Just find my courage and hop to it. But for now, it's going to be a lot of bling. Lots of bling to do. So, I think what I'm going to do is work on a lot of the scrolly stuff to start. I've also got this neat little book here. With a little rose there as a bookmark. So much like cute adornment on here. I like it a lot. Oh, this paint is gnarly. Big old pile of snot in the pot. Yeah. Wow. I should water it down. I keep saying that. Maybe I'll do it. You know what? I'm going to risk it. I'm just going to add a couple drops of water and see how that helps. It's not like I'm not thinning my paint every single time. Anyway, I'm morbidly tempted to add one of those little paint shaker machines to my retinue of crap I own that I don't really need. Let's smooth it out a little bit. We can work with that. Alrighty. Where was I? I think this brush is a little tiny. Let's try this one. Dip of water. And away we go. It's so good to have a weekend after Thanksgiving wraps up. Like so much family stuff in the last 2 days. So very much. To be able to wake up on a weekend. Just paint. Pretty nice. Just for laughs to see how it works. It streamed on Amazon last night as well. Because they're like, hey, you can stream here. I was like, what is going on? What world do we live in? Apparently, I'm thoroughly promoting this whole streaming lifestyle. I don't know. It was neat. One person dropped in. I was basically just painting this rhino on Amazon. It's so weird. I don't know. A couple people showed up. It was cool. That's probably going to need another coat. Most of this will. But that's fine. Now I got to make super sure I don't grab it. My notorious issue is getting paint on my fingers on the other side of the model once I flip it around. It's so funny. So, if you go on Amazon on your phone, I never even checked this out. Like, there's really no discovery around it. But, like, on the bottom, there's. Oh, that thing isn't straight. That's all right. Just a regular Amazon shopping app. On the bottom, right next to your, like, there's like a house for home on the bottom. And right next to it, there's like a sparkly sort of star diamond thing. That's all just people posting videos. And then depending on how far along you get, um, with streaming stuff and posting videos, eventually your stuff shows up on actual store page things and in other spots. It's very nascent. It's just getting underway. It's super weird, but like I just like to experiment with freaking everything. So I gave it a shot. It wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. It's a little weird, like all the setup is through your phone. There's like an app that you use, but you can tell it, like you can tell OBS, like, hey, it'll give you the link and the stream key and all that. So I did it that way. It was awkward. I mean, I didn't do it like infomercial style because I genuinely am not one of those influencers. So it felt pretty awkward the whole time, but it was still kind of neat. And the main thing I use that for, not that I've exposed this to really anyone, is I have a list of all the crap that I use up there on a profile that is me. And I mainly just use it to direct people that get in touch, like directly, like, dude, what camera are you using? I can just send them a link there and maybe get some affiliate BS going. But yeah, this is the world we live in. A bunch of people sitting in their homes, just like this, streaming out to the universe. Yes, I know I'm late to the party and just catching up with that, but it's absolutely where it's going. When you think about it, though, it makes sense. And I know this for sure, looking in product stuff myself, is that sort of the best way to get someone to sort of trust your product is to have someone else say, hey, I trust this product. And a lot of times, the best way is like a friend goes, hey, this is a really cool model. I enjoyed it. You should paint it. But in the era we're in, a lot of people's friends are actually just strangers on the internet. which is cool. So it does make sense. I can see why Amazon would want to do it. And they have grillions and grillions of dollars to invest in making it work. I was surprised how smooth it was. And I shouldn't have been because, well, it's Amazon. And like people think about them as just like consumer products, but Amazon Web Services is a juggernaut that everyone and their uncle interacts with. Kind of a big deal. But apparently you can just post videos. So I'm like sort of tempted to just repost my old crap because I don't want to stream there on any regular basis. It's kind of ridiculous. But if I can just post all my old crap, like guess what? Hope you're not doing much today. Here's 48 hours of me painting models. And then conveniently it just has all the links to the crap. Well, I have to set them up, but it's all based on your browser history anyway. Not browser, your search history. Whatever. A lot of much ado about nothing. Cool stuff though. All right, let's get. Actually, while I still have that open, make sure I don't have any other scroll. Yeah, that's right. I said I was going to hit this book. There's like an entire sprue just for the bling on this Rhino. I thought it was awesome. Like I didn't even put everything on this because I wanted to save a few bits in case I wanted to use them on like bases and stuff for some of the ladies. There's probably like 15 pieces I still didn't attach to this that I could have. And I got the sense that like a lot of them are variants if you actually have any idea what order you're doing, which I don't. So I just like I slap stuff on. It's just like try to think of a parallel here. As far as orders go, this is holiness undivided. Every symbol, every saint. Oh, it's going to be a little tough to get into, but if I hit this rose, it's not too big a deal because it's going to get like green and stuff. I shouldn't fret. Loosen this up a little bit. Turn it into almost a glazy wash and just dab it next to that rose and it should sink in there a little bit. Yep, money. I will have to hit that with another coat. That looks like garbage. Side of these pages. Tactical book, indeed. Just up there in case someone wants to sit up top. Read some scripture. People are on those long, long marches. And then I got the front of this guy. A couple scrolls. I got to crack this stuff back open. Yoink. Back in it. I wonder how many times I will put this model on a table before this crazy purity business on the front gets snapped off. This brush has a pretty big hook on it. I might be doing brush surgery in a second. It's terribly annoying. See how nicely I care for my brushes? There we go. Better. Better, better, better. I'm actually curious if I should wash this whole thing. I I ordered a lot of stuff yesterday because I'm a complete consumerist. Um, but I have a big old pile of cheap brushes coming in, and I'm curious if they're like just good enough beater brushes, or they'll like align with my skill level 90% of the time, and then I can sort of save my better brushes. I'm learning to take a lot better care of my brushes, despite what you just saw. Anything had a hook on it. It still does. It's just that there was one lazy little piece on there that would not yield. I don't even think I actually trimmed it off. Maybe I did. I think I got a little piece of it. All brushes eventually end up in the pile of this is now used for terrifying things. I'm going to open this widget because it's telling me some stuff. Stream status poor. Psh. All right, well, I'm not. Now that I'm shuffling OBS between different things, yeah, the brush torture pit, you got it. All those little spots, those when the grime comes out, you're like, ah, this brush is perfect for for grime. I'm laying on heavy metallics like typhus corrosion, all that really thick glop. It's good stuff. All right, I think I got all my paperwork done, which means I can move on to other metallics. Some metallics at large. What to do, what to do, what to do. All right, I have this pretty decent chainmail silver, which has a really weird luminescence to it. I like it a lot. I've only used it barely. I'm going to use it on all the vents and smokestacky stuff, mufflers, all that jazz. So many different things to dip around to on this model. And yeah, I do need to drill some holes in this thing. I still don't have a little hobby drill. All the crap that I bought, I don't have a hobby drill. I will buy one after I get off of this stream. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. Good Lord. None of you people sleep. Love it. That's right, I said you people. All these little muffler things. any of the metallics on here that is like utilitarian instead of bling. You get this. And these will actually get a black wash on them too. So at least some parts of this transport look like they're actually used and not adornments. I'll hit the little wheelie things on the half track with this stuff too. Wheelie things on the half track. That's the scientific military professional terminology right there for you. Might as well get to it. I'm going to switch out this brush. I'll tell you why. Because it's super long and floofy. It's just going to get beat up if I keep trying to use it there. Do a little cleanup here. Cleanup on aisle 3. We've got a little dish with some isopropyl in it just to get some of this stuff off of these brushes before I clean them. This one is a little bit dirty. Do some amount of maintenance here. Put that back over here. I need a heftier brush because I'm going to just be in there scooching. This brush is beat to heck, and that's fine. Little dab of water on it so we can start pulling paint. There we go. Really just kind of splotching it in there. A couple brush strokes here and there, but precision's not the most important thing. I wonder how they make these metal on the. You know what? Look at the box art. Look at the box art. Yeah, they make them all metally. I should consider that for my treads. I'll put some dirt on them eventually. I'm not going to hit the treads right now because then it basically render this tank unpaintable for a while and well, on the internet, but it is something to consider. All underneath here. It's a beater brush. It's so weird, like my mental state when painting these is totally racked around like, oh, it's too shiny. I got to figure out what I'm going to do to grim this down. I'm so Death Guard trained. Not trained well, but so used to just like, as soon as I put metallics on, it's like, oh, grime it up. These ladies keep it classy. I don't have to do that. In fact, I really shouldn't do that. Oh yeah, this brush is falling apart. Love it. Served well, buddy. So much fun stuff on this Rhino. time getting in there. I'm not too worried about hitting the treads. I don't want to hit them a ton right now because I want to still be able to keep painting the model, but those treads are going to get metallics on them too. This is just my opportunity to get some of this stuff out of the way. This one I did last night. Maybe I didn't shake it enough. That's certainly possible. It looks a little different than the others. Maybe it cures differently. Who knows? All right. So I got a couple other little spots here and there. Anything like a vent, get inside there. And if I need to clean it up later in terms of anything black, I'll do that. Sort of tempted to hit the entirety of these, but I'm not sure if I want to do that yet. Sort of tempted. Not too tempted. Around. I think I'm pretty good with this stuff for now. I'll wash this beater brush up a little bit. What I need is some more big models, and then I can use this big old honking brush again. Just handling whole panels on big things. Let's see, let's grab something small. You can see on this side that I hit that whole sigil business. I should bite the bullet and do it on this side too. For that, I think I used bright bronze last time. Getting used to a lot of these mechanics. Hey. How? It's like hearts flowing out all over the place. That's awesome. I can do that too. Woo. All right, let's do this. It is interesting. I'll actually show you wet palette here. So obviously it's like screaming bright. I'll try not to blind you guys. There you go. That's a little better. So this is where I dropped it last night, and you can already see like the red separating out of it. So cool. This is like what I just dropped right now. Really, pigment stuff is just fun. Fun to work with and learn about. I am going to get inside there. What I'll do is I'll hit the recessed parts of this with a black wash, which will bring that texture back up that's in there. And then I can try to hit these letters, which will be exciting. That was pretty scary when I did the other side last night. I was tired. Oh man, so much like family stuff. Great day, but just exhausting. Now I get a whole weekend. Yeah. I do have a lot of housework to do this weekend, but it's all good. We'll get to it eventually. There we go. Yeah, this color's great. Love it. It's like as it dries, it gets a little bit, it's really tough to tell. I should probably work on the color temperature of my lights, but just that subtlety of some red in there, depending on where the light hits it, really nice. Put this down for a second, have a sip of tea, stretch out a little bit. Don't go into full-on hunchback mode. I have scoliosis as it is. I don't need to get any worse. Stretch the neck up, get back to business. It's important to, I mean, not step away, but I mean, stepping away is probably a good idea, but it's important to stretch a little bit every once in a while. And I will have to dig in here and get a little bit more detailed at some point. Like there's all the edge around all that stuff. Probably should hit that, but I'm not going to do it now. I will get the letters. That's like a rite of passage. Did okay last night on the other side. I want to mainly get the stuff that stood up and pressed out first. Then it's going to get a wash. And that phase is fun. Alrighty. Still kicking it. Now, the tough part. It's funny, I didn't hit the entire ring around that thing either. I think I'm going to use a different, slightly different metallic. I'm trying to use, not all of them, but a bunch of the different metallics that came in this Viejo set because they're new to me, and I'm hoping they can kind of replace my Citadel stuff. The other thing is, this thing doesn't have a lot of color. It's grim and black. I'm gonna start mumbling while I try to concentrate while I do this. Yoink. Oh, that was messy. Go get him, Tiger. It's on now. This thing's all black. One of the few opportunities I have for color is actually in the metallics. Oh my god, it's terrible. You gunned it. Get my shakes out of my system. Squeak, 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 squeak. Don't get old, kids. Don't get old. Let's try that again. Elsewhere. These eyes. Here we go. Now I'm just taking my time. I'm going to get a little bit of water involved in this. Not a ton. Just enough to keep it flowing off the brush. And this will get a wash on it. So I have a little bit of latitude, but not a lot. I want the letters to stand out. This is all stuff I'm really not good at, and I'd like to get better. So we gotta just bite the bullet. I mean, in theory, I could have just dry brushed this thing into oblivion. I want to get some skill. Not a lot, but enough. And the wash will sort of semi-correct some of the sins that happen here. The letters are all raised, which is dope. The straight up black wash, some of those spots like I'm on a P right now, and the possibility of not getting any paint in that tiny little center, for me at least, not likely. When I wash it, give it a little dip. Wash is naturally going to soak into that recess there. More paint. Oh. Easy does it, buddy. Easy does it. Of course, now that it's wet from me trying to clean it, I think this paint is going to try to run around. It's like self-fulfilling prophecy. Oof. Glop. Glop. Yeah, it's messy. Not gonna lie. Not my finest work. Not as good as the other side when I was exhausted. Maybe being tired helps. Just like chills you out. And you can see on that side, it's not bad. It reads. I may have to go back to it. I mean, it's not terrible. It hasn't had the wash yet. Hasn't had a washing. Glorious or polished? I think I went with polished gold on the other side. I should go back and watch my own videos and remember what the heck I did. Womp womp. Oof, way too much, good lord. Alright. accidental squeeziness issue. Um, she's tiny but a little frayed. Yeah, we're going back to this one. Get that old metallic off of there. All right, while this dries up, I'm gonna hit like little things like this filigree, any other sort of spots that conveniently need to be super shiny. I'm very thankful that this like swirly stuff was its own piece of model to be attached because it's raised up super high. At first I was like, oh man, I gotta make sure that I glue these on straight, which I was a little nervous about, but because they're raised so high, it's like it's super convenient for getting your paint on there without hitting the tank itself, and it really just it pops. Like these things just totally stand out in a really awesome way. There you go, buddy. There you go. Some of this may need a second coat. We'll see. I didn't shake this stuff enough either. I get so excited when I finally sit down to paint. Like the amount of preparation I do to be actually in a position to do well at it, it's kind of minimal. It's so much fun though. Don't let my monotone voice deceive you. This little chalice iconography thing going. Can't tell if that skull's supposed to be burning or not, but we'll hit him with some color. I gotta hit the edge of this cup. It's gonna be atrocious. Gently, gently, so gently. Bottom of the cup, that was good. It's a little spicy for a minute there. All right. What I said about these guys being raised up on the front, they're not. So I got to be careful here. See if I can scooch my chair without banging my desk around. And a nice little, get enough of my arm on this desk. Just be really careful. Nice. Yeah, it's a solid C plus. That's not bad. That's so scary. I love this bling. Very little paint on the brush. Be super careful. Not so careful that you stop having fun. We're here to have a good time. I definitely didn't shake this paint up enough. Ooh. All right, for the death's head, I'm gonna go back to whatever this stuff was called. Bright bronze? Bright bronze. Good job, bright bronze. Where was it? Right in the middle there. A bunch of you is going to get a wash eventually. But not this one. Let me think about what else I've done here. Yep. I'm going to hit both of these icons in bright bronze as well. What we're naturally going to get just that little bit of variation in the metallics. Choosing to go with more than one. Just, I don't know. It's my opinion, but it just makes the model more interesting looking when so much of it is black. You don't have a lot of leeway. I run into the same stuff a little bit with my Death Guard, but they at least have like creepy oozy stuff. And you can pull the Nurgle rod out and get some little spots to pop. These guys, everything is so crisp and clean. Minimal caffeine. Go. All right. I genuinely don't know what to do inside of these guys yet, but do know that the outsides of them are going to be kind of silvery. So, plata. Absolute silver. This is strong stuff. Should hit that rocket launcher next. That thing looks dope. I think it's a rocket launcher. Alrighty. Yeah, whatever. I think this will look alright. Oh my god, this stuff is so strong. So strong. It is a little tough getting in there. I'll say these metallics are pretty smooth texture-wise. I like them. Not having to dig into a pot, go on a wet palette easy. I don't know that I'm a convert yet. I feel like I'm in at least nominally more control than I normally have been with the Citadel stuff. It tends to just get pretty clumpy as it sits in that pot over time. And you're sort of digging around in it, trying to loosen it up. It's just not that. It doesn't feel like I'm in control. This stuff is like super smooth out of the bottle. Either that or some of the practice I've been getting doing all this is actually starting to pay off. I'm by no means skilled, but man, I'm a lot more comfortable than I was a few months ago. By leaps and bounds. Still scared as all heck doing this stuff. I feel like at least got a chance to do a decent job. So there's nowhere to hide on these sisters models though. Like all my shenanigans that I used to sort of get by doing Death Guard, stuff just does not count. Which is great. It's great that they're that different. Let's see. These things, I don't know what they are. Don't know what they're supposed to be. But I do know that I got a rocket launcher and I should hit that thing up. Full show. And get a little stretch here. So yeah, little by little, more and more bling. Might switch over to Seraphim Sepia. I could do a couple washes in a minute. That always makes me happy. The washing phase. All the little bits that look like a 3-year-old did them and fix them all up. Precious, precious tea. Sweet. Alright, so just sort of cataloging. Could do some washes, do some Seraphim Sepia to get that paper looking like paper in a few spots. I could do some black washing on some of the super bright stuff just to knock it down just a shade. And I do need to black wash no matter what, that whole thing. So let's do it. I'll actually start with Seraphim Sepia, get my paper looking like it's old and parchmenty. Seraphim Sepia, perhaps, it's definitely top 5. I was going to say perhaps my actual favorite paint. Or wash at least. It's almost certainly my favorite wash. It's definitely my favorite wash. The stuff's dope. Takes all kinds of things and just knocks them down a hair. Doesn't do the full Agrax or Nuln Oil shenanigans. Not that I don't love both of those. It's nice having something that's a little bit subtle. Make sure you get your edges. Not pulling it too much. This stuff soaks in nicely. That's the other thing I like about it. Is like, I don't know if it's just the pigment that's in it, but even when things are a little bit thick, it pools nicely. Its pooling behaves, I'll just put it that way. Nice, subtle tool. Alright, that will dry up. Well, oh, I got this. Make sure I grab this thing the right way. Oh, I got it. Now I got to start being careful. I'm good. It is great to see you. It has been a while. I've been good. Things have been really good. I'm painting some Sisters of Battle. That's fun. The family's all good. Lots of family time this weekend so far, and more to come. Job's good. Seasons are changing. It's getting cold out. I actually like fall a lot in New England. So yeah, things are good. How you been? Be super careful. There we go. Just a little bit. But yeah, things are pretty dope. Now that Thanksgiving is behind me, look forward to Christmas. Which I gotta tell you, Christmas, the little kids running around, pretty sick. Pretty fun stuff. One of the things I am doing here is I'm going to add a dash of umber to this black. That's pale gray. That is if I can find what I'm looking for. Umber. Tad under the weather. I'm sorry to hear that, but otherwise good. That's good. Yeah, it is, at least for me, that time of year when I almost always get sick right around now. When the weather changes significantly, my sinuses just go nuts. Um, Last year, around this time, I got COVID, which was no fun because it was supposed to be like a month off for me in between jobs. It turned out I got COVID and then the flu. It was dope. I spent a lot of time quarantining myself to keep the other 5 humans in this house from getting sick. Not fun. Yeah, good times. I did a good job though. Actually, I didn't. I only needed to keep 4 people from it because my daughter actually is who picked it up from school. She was the vector, but she and I got to hang out a lot, which is cool. The only sort of saving grace of having a little minor outbreak in your house. So I've had COVID twice, despite how careful I am. And I'm pretty careful, but I'm also the person that, like, when things were spicy, I was the person that ventured out and did all the stuff like getting groceries and whatever. And the first time I got hit, I managed to not get anyone else in my house sick, which was good. But it was lonely because I quarantined in this room before it was set up to paint. I really should have been painting. Should have picked up this hobby much earlier. And the second time, it was just like me and my daughter hanging out a lot, doing her own thing, me making her food, staying away from everyone else. But I managed both times to not get anyone else sick. Quite proud of. But yeah, in between jobs, getting COVID, then the flu. I was so excited. I was like, I have this whole month. And just sort of like hang out with babies and play video games nonstop. And then it was like, yeah, that's not happening, buddy. It was miserable. Makes you reflect on what it's like to feel healthy. Spent a decent amount of time buying frivolous things for small children. I'm a sinless, unfortunately, it's tough. It really is like it is tough to keep it locked down. It's just the way it goes. You know, you do your best, um, but it's very spreadable. I mean, literally was like spending all of my waking hours in this room with the door closed. And when I went out, I was like Captain Lysol 24/7. There's only so much control you have. And you got to be reasonable with yourself. Like, you do your due diligence, you keep your fingers crossed, and you ride it out. All right, I should do some gold of some sort on the sides of this rocket launcher doohickey. It's got these wings on there. I want those to look pretty. before this gold completely separates on me. Let's shiny this thing up. It's pretty loose. That is pretty loose. Danger, Will Robinson. Glorious or polished? I don't know. Shake this stuff up and get some pigment out. That's thicker. That's the good stuff. There you go. That's why we shake our stuff. Yeah. That's the main thing. Like, people are going to get sick. That's gonna happen. You just hope that, like, things are chill enough that nothing goes serious. That's all you gotta really worry about. I don't worry about me. I don't worry too much actually about my kids because apparently it doesn't affect kids too much. But like, man, if I got my parents sick, it'd be like, all right, just take it one step at a time. My parents are actually, my dad would be fine. My dad did have it. My mom's got weird lung stuff going on to begin with, so like, I'm super careful with her as best I can. But like, you can only do so much. Gotta be reasonable with yourself. Oh, that's so shiny. Oh, shiny tank. Dip in here, loosen it up a little bit. But I mean, it's basically just a part of life now. It is what it is. This looks a little weird. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Maybe loosen this stuff up a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. Everybody's got shiny weapons. Primary means to fight off heresy is bling. You ladies just know how to deck your stuff out. Be super gentle on this spot. I probably should use a smaller brush, but whatever. I'll just pay the ultimate price and screw it up, and then that'll remind me in the future when I need to use a smaller brush. Whee! I didn't screw that up too much. Of course, now I'm getting cavalier with this business. Now I'm screwing it up. Not really screwing it up, but I am hitting some spots that I am going to have to go back and clean up later now. The Bling rocket launcher. This is strong stuff. I think I did it right there. It is shiny. Might need a second coat. We'll see. All right, so I think I hit all the stuff I needed to with Seraphim Sepia. Black washed a bit. Shiny in a couple spots. it's time to move on to this sword. Oh, I'm definitely using a smaller brush. Can't really mess with a sword. Oh, who's nice and small? You are. All right, so the grip and the cross piece, I'll do in something a little darker, but the blade itself has got to be mega shiny. Make sure this brush is nice and clean. Let's see how this goes. Thankfully, the sword is raised up. So I can be not cavalier with it. But it's got some elevation to it. There we go. Get the side edge going. Take your time, old man. Try to maintain some relative degree of control. Get a little dab of water, nothing crazy. Just to get things flowing a bit. So much effort. I don't know why I terrify myself. It's fine. It is scary though. Always little bits. So much progress to make. There we go. Oh, it looks swordly. That is good. Didn't hit the tank, which is good. Dash more water. So I'll switch things up a little bit for the cross piece and the pommel. I think those guys are going to get gold. Gold's fun. Sure, you guys can get some gold. I'm actually going to use it on the grip too. Gently, gently, gently. this stuff with a wash, dark wash. Hopefully it'll bring the texture back up. Back in business. Ooh. It definitely looks sorty. Not sorted. Alright, in a dramatic twist, I'm going to switch to red. I have some wax seals and some hearts in weird places. And I want to hit those. Is this paint still wet? It is not. I'm going to use this airbrush red. No, actually I won't. I will use piston red, because this stuff is horrifying. Super red. Ronald McDonald red. No turning back from it. Now, being gentle and turning this thing properly, watching where my fingers go, I have this red rose. Little bookmark. Just when someone wants to get up on top of this Rhino and a little sermon. I do need to get the back a bit. It's going to look squirrely. Red rose. And then there should be at least a couple more wax seals. Be like gentle and slow with these guys. And this paint is thick, but it does soak in pretty nicely. Just sort of get the edge a little bit. There you go. Who's pure? You're a pure Rhino. I remembered seeing some other piece of, yeah. Stand to get a little bit of this flame. I'm not going to completely red it out. But, oh, there's a little oink. And the little guy over here, yoink. A couple little tabs of red. Nothing crazy, but there's a skull on fire, and that's pretty metal. Get a little bit of red on that, and then I'll get a little bit of yellow on it at some point. I get to yellow. What other things? Ah, heart right there. I really just used all the bling as much as I could. There's still plenty more that comes with it with the model, but I just blinged the whole thing up. Loved it. I probably have used stuff from like several different orders, so this is definitely not a canonical order of sisters. Definitely religion undivided for sure. A little scooch more. Boop, boop, boop. Alright, I think I have hit the point in the stream where I have put paint on enough fiddly little parts where I'm starting to get it on my thumbs, and I'm a little bit scared that as I turn this thing over, if I don't let it dry for a bit, I'm going to start putting shiny thumbprints all over the place. So I'm going to bounce for now. Maybe I'll be back later today after this dries up a bit. I'm almost certainly going to be back tonight. But yeah, I gotta stop. I can already see a couple little spots where there's no place to handle this thing anymore. Anywho, thanks a bunch for hanging out, and we will see you sometime soon. Take care. Bye bye.